Well, how about this story today? They served their country with bravery, but could not get in to see the memorial that was set up in their honor because of this government shutdown thing. So this group of World War II veterans didn't want to take no for an answer. Watch this video. Look at these folks as they start to pour through those gates, and the bagpipes led the way. It was quite a moment, and Michelle Bachmann, Congresswoman, was there, and she's here live to explain what happened next.
Also, get a live coming up.
Plus, how this group of veterans were not taking no for an answer after being shut out of the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. They had traveled far to get to this moment, and nothing was going to stop them. Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann was there. She was out for a walk and happened to be there and helped him out. She joins us live to tell her story next.
He's completely unwilling to work with us, and that's our problem. I mean, what do? Do we just, in that case, members of Congress might go home and just let the president be a king because he only wants things his way. Well, that's not how our government works. You give and take. The only thing is he won't.
The impact of the shutdown now on day 2 being felt acutely in Washington, D.C. All the monuments are closed there, and hundreds of thousands of federal workers are at home, leaving the nation's capital unusually quiet for a Wednesday morning. Molly Hennenberg's outside the Lincoln Memorial with Washington behind her left shoulder. We saw World War II veterans get past the barriers into a closed memorial yesterday. Are we going to see another showdown at that same memorial today?
Bill, potentially later this morning. There are more honor flights of World War II vets on their way to D.C. right now. They should arrive at the World War II Memorial in the next hour or so, and those barricades are still up. One member of Congress who says he helped remove those barricades yesterday for another honor flight of World War II vets to get in to see the memorial says he's not sure how it's going to go today.
I'm hearing this morning that they're going to have actually mounted police. We have another honor flight coming in today that's going to arrive from Chicago with hundreds of more World War II veterans. And we really don't know what's going to happen. Are the Park Police are we going to be as fortunate as we were yesterday with the veterans from Mississippi and Iowa, or are they going to be turned away?
Those Mississippi and Iowa World War II veterans didn't let the barricades deter them yesterday. They did have a chance to see the memorial. This whole thing puts the Park Service in a tough position, though. They're being told by the Department of Interior to close all facilities, including those open-air war memorials around Washington, D.C. But a Park Service spokesperson says they want to be respectful of veterans as well. Bill?
Congress will get another crack at this, right? I mean, they might vote to reopen the memorials again today. Is that right, Molly?
Yes, here's the situation. It came up in the House yesterday, a bill to reopen the national parks, which would include the war memorials. It needed a 2/3 vote to pass. It didn't get that. So they're going to bring it up in the House again today under a different set of procedures where it would only need a majority to pass. Of course, then it would need Senate approval as well, which seems unlikely. So it's got a long way to go in Congress to reopen just the national parks and the war memorials. As far as furloughed workers today, this is the first full day that 800,000 federal workers are at home because of the furlough, because of the shutdown. Those who still had to come to work today, though, expressed concern for their colleagues.
I feel sorry for the people that will be affected and their families.
Federal employees are not getting paid today, whether or not they are at work. Those who are on the job may get back pay. They should get back pay. That's what happened before, once the government's funded again. But those who are home today may or may not get paid for these days that they're furloughed.
All right, Molly,
Bill?
thank you. Molly Hennenberg's on the National Mall today. Thanks. Martha.
Well, Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann was there at the World War II Memorial when this all happened yesterday. Take a listen to what one of the veterans from Mississippi had to say about the government shutdown.
We certainly feel real bad about that, and we're having kind of a hard time, as you can witness here today, of all of us World War II veterans looking at our memorials and understanding some things, and it's kind of heartwarming and heartbreaking about it. And we hope that they can get things worked out.
Well, he's not alone. Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann joins us live. Congresswoman, good morning. Great to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you.
So all this played out yesterday. You happened to be out for a walk and heard about this and rushed over to see what you could do. Is that right?
That's right. I had gotten an email that said that there were World War II vets that were showing up to the memorial, and there was a call from members of Congress to come and help get them in. And I happened to be out on the mall, so I ran over, and I was on the opposite side of the barricade. I quick took a couple of photos, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing because it was buses, barricades, and there were 84 to 99-year-old veterans that were held away on the other side. So a couple of members brought us scissors. They cut the yellow police tape. They opened the barriers. A bagpiper led the way, and then we all helped the World War II veterans walk around the monument. And it was really a wonderful experience. And we had heard today that, again, they might bring mounted police. And so members of Congress are planning to go down again today to help them get in. There's a group coming in from Illinois. There's another group coming in, I think, from Missouri. So a number of us will be there.
Let me ask you this, Congresswoman. I mean, it appears that Democrats are happy to let this happen, right? Because they're saying it's all your fault, Republicans. Yeah. This standoff is your doing. So now you're going to put up with the consequences because these bills have been brought forth. Why don't we open the parks? Why don't we support the VA? And they're getting shot down one after the other. So, I mean, they seem to be enjoying this to some extent.
Well, that's what was so ridiculous. Here we were on the ground and we saw how this would impact people who are 95 years old wanting to see their memorial yesterday. So we introduced the bill yesterday to open these memorials up. The Democrats voted it down, and so now we're putting that same bill on the floor today so that it can pass only with Republican votes. We just need a simple majority. We're actually trying to solve problems right now. This isn't political. We're trying to solve these problems so that the World War II veterans who, I'm not kidding, for a lot of these guys, this was a trip of a lifetime. And they deserve this. This is 70 years ago when they served us in World War II. They deserve being able to get into this memorial.
Let me ask you this. Is it just politics to shut these places off? I mean, these are open parks. You can walk through them. It's like closing Central Park and putting a gate in front of it. I mean, is this just a political, game, really, to say, oh, well, if you're not going to let us, move forward with this, then we're just going to shut down all these places and it's going to look bad publicly for you?
Well, of course, and that's why we're planning to be there every single day to help them to make sure that they can get in. Now, the fountains are turned off. They won't see the fountains. Lighting is turned off. But as you said, Martha, it's open air. And so all we want to do is be there because it's tough if you're 95 years old to open the barrier yourself. So we want to be there to give some authority to say, let these people in. Yeah. They deserve it.
Let's take a look at some of what happened on the floor yesterday. Let's roll this and get your thoughts on it.
This is a game. Yeah. This is a game. There is no excuse for not opening up all of government. There is not any excuse for leaving some employees behind while you take care of others. There is no excuse.
This is a waste of time. It's not going anyplace, thank heavens. But what it is not about what they're talking about, parks, veterans, or District of Columbia. It's about the Affordable Care Act.
We had numbers yesterday, Congresswoman. Congressional approval ratings are at 10%. And I think people just look at all this and they say, you got to be kidding me. I mean, let the veterans into the park. It's an open air park. But let's get this show on the road. And they really blame both sides. And, the weight seems to fall more significantly on the Republican side. And there are some indications from some members of Congress that they're getting a little nervous about this. They're getting anxious. They might want to pull the plug on this. And Representative Nunes says that he thinks that people who are holding out on the Republican side, like you, he's calling them lemmings.
Well, I think what we're seeing with the mainstream media is it's always the Republicans' fault. It doesn't matter what happens, but it's the Republicans that put forth 4 different bills to solve this, including one bill said, can we just sit down and talk? Can we sit down and do a conference committee and figure this out? There's only one position that the president has in Harry Reid, and that's their way 100%. And don't forget, Martha, President Obama on his own has changed Obamacare against the Constitution. He's changed it 19 different times. And so he thinks that we're just supposed to fund whatever it is he comes up with. It doesn't work that way. This president can't get the idea that everything has to be only his way. We have election certificates too, and what we're trying to do is get the best possible deal for the American people. It's not about President Obama. It's about the people that we serve, and that's why we're here.
All right, Congresswoman, thank you for being here. We're going to be watching today. We'll see if you get the parks open and some of the other things on your list, trying to put it through on a majority-only vote in the House today. So lots to watch. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
These veterans next hour from Kansas get access to the memorial. 95
ridiculous.
years young.
It's ridiculous.
In a wheelchair. What a life you have lived.